A little bit more about nodes. Nodes are the building blocks of every workflow. Let's look at what's on one. I'm going to create an SDXL node because it's very cheap. You've got an input on the left for a prompt, and that's what's coming into the node. And on the right, you've got outputs, which is what comes out. You've got a toolbar across the bottom with all the controls for this node. So let's open another node to see the type of inputs that it requires. This is a Nano Banana Pro node, and it has two inputs. It takes an image and it also takes a prompt. You'll notice that the prompt is visible on the node currently, and you'll notice that depending on the node that you're using, there's a number of different inputs. They come in different flavors. There's depending on what the node needs. So it could be a text box for prompts, a slider for numbers, a toggle for on and off choices, or a file picker to specify an image. You can type or click to fill them in directly, or you can connect them from other nodes, and we'll cover that connecting nodes in it later on. Going back to the SDXL node, but the default nodes will show you their inputs. If I provide a prompt for a Gehry building, and I can either hit enter or hit run on the bottom right here, when I run it, the node will animate and flip over, and it's flipping between its input and its output. To flip back to see the input of the node, I can flip using this button at the top that toggles between inputs and outputs. Most AI nodes let you pick which model to use. You'll see in the settings bar below the name of the model that's being used. If you click the model name, you'll get a picker where you can browse by the type. And so this is a text to image node currently. So it gives us other text to image models suggestions like Imagen 4, Fast and Pro. You can also see how much a model costs before you commit. Keep in mind that different models cost different amounts. A quick sketch from a cheap image model might cost a few credits, whereas a high-end image model such as Nano Banana can cost in the hundreds of credits, and when generating videos, they can be priced per second. So generating several seconds of video can easily run up into the thousands of credits. Usually we advise it's worth trying the cheaper options when you're iterating, and then when you're trying to produce something for production, swapping over to the more expensive models. The Create node usually has the following options in its settings. In the bottom left, there is a all parameters option, which will show you additional parameters that are available for that node. You can adjust these in this menu, or you can also publish them to the node in the case that you wanted to parametrically drive them as a import using a slider or driving it from another node. We'll cover connecting nodes in a moment. You can swap the model. You can usually set an aspect ratio for videos and images. You can set a number of variations sometimes depending on the model. You may see the node history, which will open up and display images previously generated by the node. In the info section, you'll see information about the type of asset that has been generated, its cost, and also options to download high quality versions of the output. You can play, and you can also lock nodes in the case that you don't want any of the inputs or settings changed. If I flip back to the output, it's worth mentioning for a moment that by default, Runchat displays high performance versions of images that you create. So if I was going to take this image and I wanted to use it in an external software, rather than copying this image directly or saving this image, we recommend to use this download button here, or in the info section, use the download image button. It will download the high quality version of the asset that is being displayed. If you feel that the asset is too low quality in its display, you can double click that asset to open it up in full quality in the image editor. We'll cover the image editor shortly, but it's very easy to then zoom in and look around your image. Going back to the image node, you can see we have an option if you hover the image for opening the image editor, which can also be done by double clicking, downloading the high quality image for that node. Or you can also lock the aspect ratio, which will then mean that it always scales if you're resizing the node. Using this bottom right resizer, it'll lock the aspect ratio of that node so that it's locked to the original size of the image, so you'll always see the entirety of the image that you've created. So that's a bit about the Create node and when it's being used to generate images.